All right, so another day, another Amazon update. This one seems relatively straightforward. Prime Day is postponed. I think there's actually some hidden information here that we will break down in this article together, but it kind of shines some light, in my opinion, on what Amazon might be thinking that they're not quite saying yet. So this is quite interesting. Now, if you don't know, Prime Day is a manufactured holiday, I would say. It is pretty much like a Black Friday that Amazon created, and it's always been in July. It started probably, I believe, 2015. So this would have been the 5th. Could have only been the 4th. I didn't fact check that, but it's been around for a few years, and it's always been in July, and it is a massive sales event. It's a huge day for Amazon, posting insane numbers themselves because they do a bunch of crazy deals on their own products, Echo, all of that, Kindle, and it's also pretty much the largest sales event of the year for Amazon sellers. And yeah, Q4 as a whole is bigger, but it's the largest probably individual day. Right up there with Black Friday and Cyber Monday, except it's just a bonus smack dab in July, and it's always something that we as sellers can look forward to. And I just have to say, I'm not terribly surprised with everything that has been going on with Amazon. We should be hearing if they are opening up to inbound FBA shipments any minute now. I'm recording this on April 5th, haven't heard anything just yet, but this was supposed to be the day that things went back to kind of normal for now. But as I said in my previous videos, I wouldn't be particularly surprised if these dates got extended and things got a little worse before they got a little better. So let's just dive into this article together so we can see exactly what's really going on here. But first, if this video is helpful to you, please do smash the like button, leave comments on this video, and subscribe to this channel. Those things really help with the YouTube algorithm, as well as keeping you posted on when I come out with new videos. Exclusive: Amazon to delay Prime Day event due to coronavirus. Outlines cloud risks. So there's going to be some other things in here as well, not just that Prime Day is canceled or postponed for now, but extremely interesting if you kind of try to read between the lines. And I'm not going to read the entire article here. You can do that yourself. I'll link it in the description, but I am going to read over and give my thoughts on a few key parts. Amazon is postponing its major summer shopping event, Prime Day, until at least August, and expects a potential $100 million hit from excess devices it might now sell at a discount, according to internal meeting notes. So that $100 million is just referring to loss of sales from their own devices, and it'll get into the loss in overall revenue, because obviously a huge portion of Amazon's revenue is not just their own sales and their own devices, but sales of other items, and then the massive revenues they get from third-party sellers like you and I. But what's really interesting here is pushing it back from July to August, and it says at least August. Now, if things were really going to go back to normal on April 5th, which has already passed by the time that this video is uploaded, but either way, it's going to be relevant as we see things evolve in the coming weeks. If it was really going to be back to normal by then, why would we change something from July, which is already a few months away, to at least August, which is only one more month from away past July? So what I think we can kind of read between the lines here and sort of assume is that Amazon doesn't really think things are going to go back to normal on an extremely short timeline, and that is concerning. So if they thought things would be absolutely business as usual by July, why would this be delayed at all? And then by saying at least August and not exactly August, which, by the way, they never really give an exact date until only about a few weeks in advance of the event, or maybe about a month, but it's not something that is set in stone from, a year prior. But the fact that it just says at least August makes me think July to August is not that big of a difference if it really does need to be delayed. And once again, could we see that extended even longer? Doesn't seem impossible. Now, this part is interesting just as to Amazon's business as a whole. As I've mentioned in my recent businesses, I'm not concerned about Amazon as a business, going away or something, because they are extremely well diversified. And it says here that their video on demand is shaping up to post $100 million more in revenue than Amazon had planned for the first quarter. So that's pretty cool. And that just goes to show that as some opportunities, things shift, and Amazon is actually doing a lot better in a lot of areas. In another area, they've of course been doing better, not for, third-party non-essential items, but for all of the essential items. They've seen such a massive surge in these household staples, and they've, hired 100,000 workers, or at least are in the process of doing that. So, obviously things are going incredibly well in some areas. Also, it's strange how the focus of this article seems to be the 5 million extra devices. So I just wonder about their logistical timeline themselves as a manufacturing company. I guess these are already in production or already finished, but it's a few months ahead of advance. So I would be curious if they could just delay that. I don't know why the concern is so much on those devices. So it's saying they might have to promote sooner for that inventory, and worst case could be a $300 million impact, and maybe $100 million being more likely. The company does not disclose revenue from the event, but has said merchants, meaning third-party sellers, contributed to $2 billion in sales during Prime Day in 2019, which spanned 48 hours and 18 countries. And it says that they also used the event to promote Prime membership. So yeah, that is where it affects us as sellers. This is a major day that we look forward to. And now it's sort of postponed indefinitely, which kind of sucks, but it is just one day and we will plan accordingly. Luckily, it was early enough notice that sellers aren't stuck having stocked up with special inventory for deals they intended to be running. Then it would have been much more of a debacle for sure. Now, this part of the article is interesting because it references something I talked about in my video, which was saying, how bad could this really get? And could Amazon be forced to shut down everything non-essential? Warehouse workers were threatening to go on strikes and things like that. And here it says Amazon has resisted to shut down work sites, which, not surprising, and that they are making millions of masks available and will be checking temperatures. So it sounds like they are moving towards making their conditions safer, which will move things in the direction of less likely to just see strikes and shutdowns. And the last part of the article is interesting because it addresses something that I was questioning in those recent videos. I was saying how Amazon is so diversified. They have AWS, Amazon Web Services, which powers the entire internet and a million cloud-based businesses. And I was assuming that part of the business was actually doing really, really well right now. It's saying that it's actually seeing a bit of a hit. It's specifying France for some reason. I don't really know. I didn't read into this much further than this article gives, but that's weird and I'm not quite sure. But I am surprised to see that AWS would be taking a hit right now because they are powering so many other businesses that are probably having even higher bandwidth. And maybe that is part of the reason, actually. For example, I heard that Netflix, I believe in some area of Europe, was downgrading the streaming quality because so many more people streaming puts a higher tax on their servers despite maybe only the same amount of people actually paying. So I'm just speculating, but maybe it has something to do with that, and maybe it has something to do with some businesses, putting things on hold that were using the services. But that is interesting and makes me wonder a little bit more about just how the different areas of Amazon's business are going up or down right now. So yeah, overall, this is a bummer, but I can't say I'm too surprised. And I don't really think the most concerning part is Prime Day being canceled, because I think it will be postponed. It will be figured out again. But I think if anything is concerning, it's just what this says about Amazon's feeling about where things are going in the short term. And look, it just means we're gonna have to adapt. We're gonna have to figure this out and keep rolling with the punches. But overall, I think it will work out and not be too bad. And hopefully we see some good positive updates here pretty soon. So definitely check out the other videos on the channel. There are a lot of videos about Amazon, about these recent updates, about how to get started, things like that. You can also check out in the description below a free hour-long training if you're really wanting to learn how this business model works. That would be a perfect place to start. And if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe, hit the bell so you'll be notified of new videos. Smash the like button, leave comments. I read and respond to all of them. And yeah, thank you all for watching, and stay healthy most importantly, and see you soon.